My name is Zimri Mayfield, finally back with another flat design tutorial, and I've got all the color palettes that I'd like to use, or I'm not going to use all the colors, but just available to use. For this tutorial and project, I need to create something that symbolizes data centralization. So my idea for this is to create like 4 hard drives around a centrally located larger hard drive, and then show information going from the smaller hard drives to the big one. So let's get started. Press M to get the box tool, and then click and drag out kind of a rectangle, something like that. And I'm going to fill this with dark blue. So select it and press I. Then I can click on any color I want to change the color to that. Boom. So I'm going to make it this dark blue. Now I'm going to do something that's kind of specific to Adobe Illustrator Creative Cloud. If I select the box, it shows me these blue circles, and then I can click one and it'll drag in all the edges of the circle. And it's important for flat design to be soft and friendly looking. That's why I prefer rectangles or squares with rounded edges. Okay, so next move is I want maybe the top third of this box to be gray. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to copy this, Control C, and then paste another one on top of itself by pressing Control F. Okay, so you can't see, but there's actually now 2 of them on top of each other. I'm going to move that back into position. So I want the top one to get rid of like from here down. So I made that box around it. Now I can select this one and the top rounded rectangle, and I'll hit minus front in Pathfinder. So now this one has, I'm left with just the top of this. And this one, I'm going to get rid of the top part because we already have that one. So I'm going to select both of these and then hit minus front again. So now I can move this back into position. And now I'm free to change just the color of this. I'm going to press I again and click on this color, which is called pumice, which is actually pumice, but who knows. Okay, so what I want next is to make this gray part appear to be higher than the blue part. So I'm going to create kind of a shadow beneath it, quasi shadow. I'm going to press M to get the box tool, make something like that. And then if I double click on this fill square, I can get the color picker and I'll make it black. And obviously black is quite strong, so I'm going to change the opacity to be about 30%. Let's make it 20%. Excellent. So now we can see it's kind of somewhat of a shadow. Not so much, but it gives it a little bit of detail. It's cool. Now I want to make some like LED lights in the top left. So I'll press L to get the circle tool, and I'll hold shift while I drag out the circle and kind of move it up here. And then I'll make another one by clicking, hold Alt, drag it over, and then let off the mouse. So that copied it. Excellent. Now I want to make this one, we'll probably make it kind of a reddish color. So I'm going to press I, and then do this one, which is called Flamingo. Okay, so we've got our Flamingo LED, and now I need this one to be kind of greenish. We'll make it Emerald. Oh, this is kind of like the Emerald Flamingo hard drive. So cool. It sounds like a casino or something. Okay, so that's looking okay. I'm going to make these actually a little bit bigger. So I'll select both of them, and then I'm going to drag out one of the corners and hold shift so they remain circles. Okay, that's good. I think what I want is just one more detail. I'm going to select all of these things, all 3 of them, and I'm going to Control C, and then I'm just going to Control V to paste it over here. So now I've got 2 of them, but this one I want to be all one shape. So I'll go to Pathfinder again. This time I'll hit Unite. So it's all one shape now. I can make it whatever color I want. So I really only want half of it. So I'm going to make a box, select them both, minus front option. Now I can move this back over to my box, and I'm going to make it black. Excellent. And this time, not 0%, because you can't even see that. I might make it 5%. Okay, that's That's a pretty good hard drive. I want it to be simple because there's going to be there's actually going to be 5 hard drives and then lines connecting all of them. So I don't want each individual element to be too complicated. So I'm going to select the whole thing, press Control G. Now it's a group. I can like move it around. So super easy. But I don't want it to be that big, so I'm going to scale it down. Maybe something like that. And then actually it's going to be on this red background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over here. It's a little bit too small still. Make it something like that. And then I'll hold Alt and Shift, then unclick to copy them. So I'll select both of these, hold Alt and Shift, let off the mouse, and now I have all 4 of them. I actually think that this is a little bit too dark, so I'm going to go in here and make it 10%. I made it 21%. Oh my gosh. Okay, 10%. There. And then I'll go down to the bottom one here, and I'll double click to go into the group, make it 10, and then you can just double click outside the group to go out. Double click in, 10, double click out, in and out, like the burger joint. Yeah, let's make it 1, and then we'll go out. Excellent. So now we've got all 4 of these. I'm actually gonna hold Alt and then let off, so I can have kind of a bigger centralized one. Something, whoa. Hold Alt and Shift to scale it in place. Something like that. But then we actually need a little bit more space. So I'm going to move these out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Doesn't actually matter because I didn't count. I don't care about counting. Okay, that's baller. So I think they're all just a little bit too big. Scale them down. Move them somewhere like there. Okay, now what I need is, this one's way too big. Okay, there. Now I need to create something that shows data going from one to the other. So I think what I'm going to have is a line, kind of a cool line that goes from there to there. So to do that, to create a line, hit the backslash. Okay, and then click and drag out the line. So we'll go from there to there. But it won't show up unless we give it a stroke. So I'm going to give it a stroke of like 5. And then I'm going to press stroke so I can get the stroke options. And then I'll hit dashed line. Super cool. And then I'm going to make it, if I select the outline, double click the stroke color, I'm going to make it white. Look at that. It's pretty cool data showing. Okay, so then I'll just copy that over to the left side by holding Alt and then let off the mouse. So what we need now is sort of one that goes from top of this one and curves around perfectly down into the big one. To do that, I'm going to create a box. So I'm going to probably start the box about here and then have it end about there. Okay, so I'm going to make it, press Shift X to switch the fill color and the stroke color. And then I'm going to make the stroke color probably something like green, just so we can see. And then I'll hit the stroke 5 because that's what those were. So basically, I can hit stroke again, dotted line. Actually, I should have made it white before. Gave myself an extra step. Okay, so now we've got white and we can move in these corners so it's more rounded, something like that. Excellent. And then I'll probably copy that over to the right side so it goes in there as well. And I might actually move them down just a little bit, something like there. Okay, so now we've got kind of a perfect line from these hard drives to the main hard drive, but we've also got all this junk down here that we don't want. So to get rid of those, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the line. And since it's just a stroke right now, I want it to actually be individual shapes. So I can hit Object, Expand, and then hit OK. Now they're actual shapes. And now what I can do is I can go into this shape group, clicking into it, and then I'll select all the ones that I don't want. So just select all of them and then delete. Excellent. So I'm going to double click out of that and then do the same thing to this side, Object, Expand. Okay. Now I can double click into it again, and then select all the ones I don't want. I don't want you or you or you or even you or you. Okay, now delete. Baller. So we can see that this actually goes a little bit over the hard drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press A so I can select individual points and then move them up like that. So now I need to go into this group, select, and then press A, move them up just like that. Okay, so let's zoom out and see how we're looking. We're looking not bad at all. I think what we need is another one that goes from these two. It just kind of connects it all. So I hit the backslash again. Try to find whatever we think is basically the middle. I give it a stroke of 5, and then stroke dashed line. Well, that was really good. Okay, cool. So now we've got kind of everything around. What I'd like to do now is just do one final step, which is give all of them a little bit of a long shadow. So what I'm going to do is hit the backslash so I can create a line. I'll go from the just like that. And then I'm going to give that a stroke so we can see it. But this time I'll make this black. Boom. And then I'm going to hit hold Alt while I drag this out at an angle. So now what I have is essentially 2 of them. And I'm going to create a shadow that goes from this one to this one. So the top one I actually want to be black, but the bottom of the shadow I want to be nothing. So I'm going to change this to opacity 0, so it's essentially invisible. Now I can select both of these, and then I'll go Object, Blend options, make sure it's set to specified distance of 1 pixel. Press OK. And then go Object, Blend, Make. Now we have some awesome looking thing here, but it's way too harsh. So I'm going to change the opacity to about 20%. Remember, flat design, friendly. Always friendly. So I want to move the hard drive on top of this shadow. So I'll hit Control-Shift right bracket to bring it up. Now we've got kind of a nice shadow on that one. And since all the hard drives are the same size, I can just literally just copy and drag that one down and then move this one to the top. Are we sure they're aligned? I'm going to select both of them and then go to Align and make sure that they're horizontal align center. They are. Good. I'm a boss. Boss. And then since everything is so perfect, I'm going to just copy and drag those ones over again. Control-Shift right bracket to bring that one. Control-Shift right bracket to bring that one to the front. Okay, perfect. And then actually what I'm going to do for this one is just going to do that again. But this time I'm going to select both of these edges, corners here. And then I'm going to put it to that corner there. And then select these two so I can bring it down just a little bit further. Move this to the front, Control-Shift right bracket. So now we've got some nice long shadows. It's kind of showing data being brought into a main place. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's quite good. So that is the end of this flat design tutorial. Thank you for watching. If you learned any tips, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment about something cool that you like about flat design. You don't have to, but you can like the video, make me a very happy person. Okay, catch you next time. Bye.